Welcome to this podcast for Brighton School of Business and Management students studying for the HND Level 5 courses. This assignment focuses on the established concepts and practices of human resource management, and in particular on best practice in recruitment, retention and employment cessation. It is strongly advised that you supplement our study material by discussing these topics and issues with your line manager and specialists in your organisation, and by searching on the internet for case studies, articles and reports on these topics relevant to your particular type of organisation and business sector. Section 1. Here you need to describe the development and functions of personnel management, and then why they evolved into human resource management, and briefly describe the differences in what we now know as personnel management and HR management. For bullet point 2, you need to summarise the HR function, mentioning activities such as selection, recruitment, employee motivation, reward management, training and development, performance management, employee relations, working in partnership with functional areas, involvement of line managers, ethical issues, equality of opportunity, and explain why these are important to the organisation. In a lot of organisations, many HR functions have been devolved down to line managers, such as selection, recruitment, training, coaching, mentoring, appraisal, grievance, discipline and termination. You need to describe this role and give your view as to how effective or successful it is. Here you need to analyse the impact of legislation such as acts on sex discrimination, race relations, equal pay, disability discrimination, European Working Time Directive, Employment Act, and mechanisms such as the National Minimum Wage and employment tribunals. Section 2. Here you need to refer to the role of HR in areas like organisational purposes, organisational strategy, increased volume of business, changes to the required skill sets, employee turnover, labour cost control, technological change, workforce profiles, supply and demand for labour, labour market competition, and the changing nature of work and the impact of technology. For the next 2 bullet points, just as asked, you need to refer to the way that the two organisations differ and then how effective each one is. You need to look at recruitment policies, recruitment procedures, aims and objectives of the selection process, job analysis, job description, person specification, recruitment methods, interview methods, use of assessment centres and tests, use of CVs, letters of application, and approach to references. Section 3. On bullet point 1, you need to describe the main theories of motivation and discuss how relevant they are to the reward needs of individuals in the workplace. You will need to have looked at theories of motivation, for example Taylor, Mayo, Maslow, Hertzberg, McGregor, McClelland and Vroom, and investigated the relationship between motivational theories and reward. In doing so, you will need to refer to areas such as employee involvement techniques, works councils, quality circles, devolved authority and responsibility, organisational culture, and briefly mention the role of national accreditation such as investors in people and charter marks. On bullet point 2, you'll need to describe a job evaluation process and how it is used to determine pay amounts and scales, and also discuss what other factors are used to determine pay levels such as age, qualifications and gender. Reward systems can include performance-related pay, pension schemes, profit sharing, employee share options, mortgage subsidies, relocation fees, bonuses, company vehicles, loans or advances, childcare, school fees, corporate clothes, staff discount, flexible working, healthcare, extended parental leave, career breaks, cafeteria incentive schemes, salary sacrifice schemes and contracts of employment. You will need to set some of these in different workplace situations or scenarios and discuss how effective you believe them to be in motivating employees. For the last bullet point, you will need to discuss methods such as probation, appraisal, feedback, setting performance indicators, setting Targets such as sales growth, financial, waiting times, pass rates, punctuality and attendance, and also discuss benchmarking both internally and externally. Section 4. Here you need to discuss the reasons for employees being asked to leave an organisation, such as cases of dismissal, which could be wrongful, unfair or justified, termination of employment, which could be resignation, retirement or end of contract, redundancy, redeployment and retraining. On bullet point 2, research the exit procedures for 2 different organisations, one of which can be your own organisation, and describe them with some comments on the differences. You will need to have examined how each one deals with retirement, resignation, dismissal, redundancy, exit counselling, retraining and also the management of disputes. For the final bullet point, you need to discuss the impact of legislation such as employment law, dealing with issues including unfair dismissal, payments, right of appeal and tribunals. In the UK there is currently a move to change much of the legislation as it applies to small and medium-sized businesses, and it is well worth mentioning that in your assignment. Finally, here are a few websites you will find useful when preparing this assignment. And if you need any further help or assistance with this assignment, please contact your tutor.